Hey everyone, this is Jono from Veracity with another video in my video series. This one again on analyzing data, and specifically we're going to take a look at some dashboard capabilities in the Veracity LRS today. So just a tip. This is the beginning of a series on analytics in the Veracity LRS, so check out the last video. It doesn't really go into the LRS functionality, but it just talks a little bit about data in general and data in relation to the xAPI, and it's important foundational information to be able to use the tools in the Veracity LRS for data analytics. So check that out. I'll put a link in the description as well. So when we're talking about the dashboards in the Veracity LRS, there's a couple different things. There's the default dashboards. There's three: the LRS, activity, and agent. And they provide just general information about the LRS, the activity or object, or the agent, which is typically the learner or the actor, and you can do some exploratory analysis and use all of the normal features that are there for the visualizations, but it's not very customizable. There's another section, custom dashboards, where you can create your own charts, lists, metrics, use our VQL language to do something very customized. And then there's some other things in there that we'll talk a little bit about. Some of them are deprecated and are really there just for backward compatibility. And then there's some tools that are related to the dashboards, and really they're an entry point to the dashboards, like the statement viewer and the activity explorer. For the purposes of this video, we're really going to look at the default stuff. And in fact, we're really going to spend most of our time just on the LRS overview dashboard. There's quite a lot here. I try to keep these videos relatively short, so we're going to keep it to the point. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the LRS demo. Okay, so I am in a LRS that I created in one of the other video series here on the Learner portal. And you'll see over here in the left-hand menu, there's an item that says Analytics. We're just going to go ahead and click on that, and that will launch us into the Analytics package. You'll notice over here on the left, we have dashboards, and if I open that up, you can see there's the LRS overview, activity overview, agent overview. These are the ones that we just talked about in the slides. And then under custom dashboards, I have one called demo, but we'll get into this later. This is where you can, build your own stuff. For now, I just really want to focus on what you get out of the box in the default dashboards. So right now we're looking at the LRS overview. This is general information about everything in the LRS. Typically in these dashboards, what will happen is based on the date range you've selected here, I have 90 days. I could change this to, the last 7 days, for example, and everything just kind of changes. Actually, I don't have any data really within the last 7 days, so let's go back to the last 90. The graphs will present themselves on this page if there's data to render in the graph. So it's smart. It will kind of give you what it can based on what is in the system. So you'll always get a panel over here. In this case, it's telling us it's the LRS overview. This is the particular LRS that we're looking at. We've got a certain amount of statements. We can see the storage used and some other information. To the right of this, we have a time series. So in this case, it's just activity over time, general activity, anything, completions, views, scoring on something, passing something. It's all aggregated together, and we can just kind of see the general activity over time. Depending on the range that you have in a time series chart, you might get this little control to zoom in. So we can see there's a spike, and maybe we want to go closer to that spike and kind of look at what happened before it. And you see we can kind of narrow in on exactly when that happened. So now we're only looking at this small subset. Maybe I can highlight that real quickly. This small subset that we have selected is now what we're seeing down below in the larger rendering. So yeah, all of the graphs, depending on their type, they have different controls and different things that you may be able to do. The next one is just a bar chart that's showing us the most active actors, the learners in the system. Below that is the most recent active objects. Each of these will behave a little bit differently. Again, maybe I have something that's clouding up the data, and in this pie chart, I can shut it off and have things re-render. So you want to play around with these a little bit. The other thing that I want to point out is In some cases, in these default dashboards, they're meant to be able to drill down and get more information. So we can see here that statistical inference has, in this period, 15.8% of the data points. So maybe I want to drill down into that. And if I were to click on that, it will actually take me to the activity overview dashboard for statistical inference. We can see it's a lesson. We can see the last time we got data about it was back in January. It's all sample data, by the way, that I generated a while ago. We can see that the statistical inference lesson is part of data science. It's part of that course. And then we get some other data about it. But in this case, we're looking at a particular activity. So no, we're no longer at the LRS overview, we're at the activity overview. If I were to go back to the LRS overview and do the same type of thing with like an actor, it looks like Bell Cariani has the most events in this time period. And if I were to click on their bar, I'll go to the agent overview. So now I'm looking at data for this particular person. So this is pretty neat. Just with those features, you're able to drill down, look at overall data, look at the overall traffic, see what a specific person is doing, seeing what how a specific activity is used, and that can be pretty powerful. You will find likely that you need to get into custom dashboards to do some more advanced things, but you can get a long way with this. A few other things that I want to show you here today is with each of these, you have this context menu. This is a live view of the data. So if data is coming in, you can reload them and see the latest. You can expand them to be the full screen in case labels are getting cut off. You can get a kind of broader view. You can get a link. So if you wanted to embed this in another site, you can get a link to a particular visualization, copy this code and paste it in. If I click test link, you'll see what it looks like. In this case, it's going to take up the whole screen. And actually, I'm going to have to go out of full screen to get back to that. There we go. You'll see it takes up the whole screen. But if I, had this in a small component on my website, it will flow to the size that it's being rendered on my website. So pretty cool stuff. And then I have the ability to get this out as an image, PNG or JPEG. I can get JSON, Excel, or CSV, and that's the data that is used to generate this graph. It's not the actual JSON xAPI statements. It's just kind of the representation of this graph in case you want to do some further analysis in a tool like Excel. Okay. I think for today, we're going to go ahead and call it. A lot more to come in the analyzing your data series that we're doing here right now. But for today, we'll call this quits. If you like this video, please subscribe or click the like button. Thanks for watching and have a good one.